Canada's conduct critically impacts the rights of women and girls extraterritorially. This committee has repeatedly called out Canada for failing to adequately regulate the extraterritorial effects of its companies. Nearly 50 CSOs warn that Canadian arms exports to Israel contribute to grave violations of women's rights in Gaza, including the right to reproductive and maternal care, as the IDF continues to target Gaza's health infrastructure. Canada has taken limited action to stop the direct export of arms to Israel, but arms exports can be and are being simply rerouted through the U.S. This is a major loophole that must be closed to protect women's rights in conflict areas. Further, disarmament is necessary for peace and will positively impact women and children's health. Women face greater vulnerability from nuclear weapons. Canada's Women, Peace and Security agenda aims to advance feminist foreign policy, but it does not acknowledge nuclear disarmament as a priority or a gendered issue. Canada must sign and ratify the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, boost women's global participation, empower civil society organizations to engage with governments, and fund disarmament education. Canada is also implicated in exploitative deep-sea mining as Canadian companies seek to make trillions through predatory partnerships with some Pacific Island states. Canada must investigate these companies. Pacific women and Canadian Indigenous women deeply oppose these projects as it threatens the ocean and marine life with which they share kinship and endangers food safety and security and economic livelihoods. Canadian resource extraction projects have also increased violence in Ecuador against Indigenous women, which would be exacerbated by a proposed free trade agreement. Canada must ensure trade agreements consider human rights, environmental due diligence, and adequate remedies, as well as seek free, prior, and informed consent from affected Indigenous peoples. We urge the committee to call on Canada to stop Canadian companies from violating women's rights extraterritorially, including in Gaza, Ecuador, the Pacific, and elsewhere.